Alright, got the broadcast equipment back out. I'm going to give this a shot. We've got Class C street stocks at Concord, the half-mile triangle. We've got 55 laps is what we're going to be doing. Cautions are on. And pole sitter is the number 4. That is Tyler Gary. Got one more pace lap to go. Outside of him and driving in the pace car because he thinks he's cool, Bo Brady. Then inside second row is going to be the 11 of Blake Anderson. Outside of him in the 1 car, Brandon Wilkinson. So they're getting formed up down the backstretch. Into the 3rd turn. And Tyler Gary gets on it, and we are green. Little contact back there for 3rd place as they work their way onto the backstretch. Wilkinson gets ahead of Anderson in the 11. Further behind them, we got one going around. That's the 6 car. He saves it. Looks like everyone's still going straight. We're going to keep it green. So Tyler Gary in the 4. He's got the lead. Bo Brady in the 8, followed behind him. Then Brandon Wilkinson in the 1, and Blake Anderson in the 11. Jason Lena in the 13. And we'll put up the top 10 up there for you to see the gaps. So closest battle right now on track is the number 5, Ronald Williams, and Connor James in the 10. Nope, that is Michael Crafton in the 5 and Ronald Williams in the 9. Battling for the 7th spot. Up front looks like 2nd place, Wilkinson was closing in but is not there, so. Blake Anderson now moves up the track. The 2 car having a little connection issue. Probably going to fall out pretty soon. Everyone's kind of backing off because they have no idea where he's going to end up. So the battle for 6th place, 5th place is now over. Crofton takes the position and is going to go into 4th now as 13's got to check up. Seen the blinking number 2 appear again, but I believe he's fallen out now. Nice little battle here between 5 different cars. 13 having a little bit of a hard time getting off of the turn 2. 10 car gets into the 9. 5 cars all battling for that 5th spot. Now the 9, Ronald Williams, working, trying to get underneath the 11 out of the final turn. Looks like we got a little battle brewing up ahead, though. We'll switch up to that as soon as I can. Connor James makes the move on Blake Anderson. It's under him. We'll head up front where we got a battle for 2nd now. That is the 1 car, Wilkinson, working on Brady for the 2nd spot. Brady gets a little loose. That's going to allow the outside for Wilkinson, but Brady pushes him up track and then self-spins into the corner and gets a little tap. And that sends him around. I'm sure he's not happy about that, but kind of his own doing. Got loose off of 3, then tried to block the high side, and tossed himself into turn 1. So 12 laps in of 55. Top 10 is Gary Wilkinson, now in the pits getting tires. So it's going to be a interesting call to see if that actually works out. I think when you're that much quicker than the field, it's kind of pointless to do, and most of the field stays out. So him and Crafton in the 5 both come into the pits to get those fresh tires. That's going to put them 11th and 12th, and they've got a ways to work in a short amount of time. Got a couple other takers now, it looks like. The 11 of Anderson goes in the pits, as well as Brady in the 8. And he's got some damage that he probably wants to get worked on too from that turn 1 incident. So, now that it's all settled out, and I think we're done pitting, Gary is the leader. Connor James. Now we got Ronald Williams coming into pit. So it looks like everyone's just working their way up so they can get closer to the leader than pit so they don't go a lap down. Bo Brady coming out of the pits, going to stay on that lead lap. It's going to be nice once they get tire rules and we can just say no tires. There's no pit stops in short track racing, especially street stocks. So the field slowly paces around at 60 miles an hour. Gary out front, James in second, the 10, the 6 car is Clary. Lena in the 13. And then Hernandez in the 12. So we're going to stack them back up. It looks like double file. Freshest tires, starting 7th now. That's the 1 car. We'll just kind of keep an eye on the mid-pack. We got an early jump from the 4 car. We're back going green. 1's got to check up just a little bit so he doesn't get passing on the left of the 12. They are 3 wide back there, going through the back stretch. The 5 car up the middle with the fresh tires. Outside of the 8 who brought out that caution. 11 car gets a little squarely off of the 3rd turn. So, Wilkinson up to 5th with those fresh tires. Going to be working on the 13 now. Gets underneath into the final turn, as does the 5 back there for the 6th spot. Both of them get the moves done, and now the 5's going to work on the 13. So Wilkinson up to 4th. 1.6 off of the leaders right now. Up front, Gary is pulled away by half a second over James. Clary in the 3rd position, and now Crafton working the rear bumper of the 1 car. Gets a decent run out of 2. Gonna look into the final turn. Underneath him. Little loose off the turn. Still underneath. Maybe a bit of side-to-side contact. Let's work back down the backstretch. He's going to have a better chance to get past him now. Taking a whole lap to get the move done. Gets it done, pushes up in front of him, and we'll see if he can pull away. 1 immediately tries to come back at him, but doesn't have the nose there. Gets a little loose through turn 1. And it looks like this one's settled out now. So the new tires not paying off for Wilkinson as he's went from 2nd to 5th after the pit stop and not moving forward. They are now 2 seconds off the leader of Gary. Blake Anderson in the 11 trying to work his way up to the back bumper of the 1, not getting it done. Opens the door for Bo Brady. Brady now up to the car that he made contact with to go around. Pushes out of the corner though, and it looks like we got just a bit of a kiss to the wall on the exit of 3. So up front, The gap now up to second over the 10 car, who is now getting hassled a little bit by the 6, Clary. Clary in the 6 and Crafton in the 5, slowly closing in on James. Little wiggle out of Clary into 3. And looks like Bo Brady has lost an engine on the front stretch. That's the noise that we heard there. Pulled off the track. Hopefully doesn't bring out a caution. We'll keep this one green as we're working on lap 28 now of 55. So Crafton up to 3rd place with the pass on Clary. He's going to take a look at the 10 car of Connor James, see if he can get past. Wilkinson still stuck back in the 5th spot, not making any moves. Ronald Williams in the 9 now has moved his way up. And we've got a caution on the track. Looks like that one might be for Brady, who did not pull off the track. He pulled off, but he's still slowly going down the backstretch. So, 30 down. 25 to go. And now Brady almost blocking the entrance of the pits. Most of the leaders come in. Brady finally gets off track after causing 2 cautions now. Gary coming in for the new tires. That's going to give the lead to Williams. Anderson stays out. Both of them pit on the last yellow. And Christopher Kimry in the 14 also stays out, who pit on the last yellow. We'll see if they come in this time. Looks like the 14 is. Ronald Williams also is, so that's going to give the lead to Blake Anderson. Gary out of the pits first. Then it's going to be the 12 car, Hernandez. James in the 10. Crafton in the 5. And the 13 of Lina. Clary is in 9th. And Wilkinson all the way back to 10th now, after running in 2nd. We've also got the 2 car back out on track. 6 laps down after a connection issue. So Anderson's going to stay out, try to gain an advantage there. I believe he was in the 6th spot before this yellow. He's got 19 laps on his tires currently. Everyone else is pit. So, class of the field so far has been Gary in the 4 car. Most likely going to easily pull away once we get going green, since he'll be starting on the outside front row. But we'll see. The 5 car, he was working his way up to the 10 on that last run. And I think he might have a shot at the 2nd spot. The 1 car, though, dropped all the way back to the 7th spot after multiple pits. We'll see what he can do, if he can turn it around. 11 goes early, gets a good jump on the field. That allows the 4 to cut down, get to the inside. We got a little contact between the 10 and the 5, but it's all good. 4 car now goes to the lead, easily takes it. And now the 10's going to look to... Oh, a little contact between the 4 and the 11. Doesn't help the 11 out. He's 3 wide now, getting sent back to 4th and soon 5th place. 4's a little squirrely still. 10 gets into the back of him with a little pressure from the 5. We are all stacked up for the top 6 positions. More contact between the 6 and the 5 as others join in this. We are packed and stacked up here. So the 4 car gets settled down. 4 and the 5 pull away from the field just a bit. Wilkinson in the 1 has also worked his way back up through the field to 5th. But he's going to run into a little roadblock of the 6 and the 10 side by side down the backstretch. That's Clary in the 6, James in the 10. Crafton right on the rear bumper of the 4 car into 1. Back here still side by side for the 3rd spot. Nowhere for Wilkinson to go. Onto the apron the 5 car goes, trying to make something work, but nothing's getting him up to the bumper right now. Still side by side for the 3rd spot. Connor James holding tough on the outside. I think he knows he's quicker than the 6, and he just doesn't want to lose that spot. They get a little touch side by side. We're 3 wide. Going to be 3 wide into 1. Wilkinson on the bottom, pushes up, shoves the 6 into the 10, and the 10 takes the worst end of it. Gonna pin that one on the 1 there. Just shoved up on the bottom and behind both the cars still. Don't think the 6 is too happy about it either. So, 15 to go. Now 14 to go. Gonna be soon 13 once we cross the line. Yellow comes out. I don't think we're gonna see any takers in the pits. The 11 car, which started on point for that restart, is now back into the 9th spot. So, looking at the lineup, we got Gary, Crafton, Wilkinson, Clary, Williams, Lena, and Hernandez in the 12. Kimry in the 14. Connor James now back to the 10th spot, and it does look like Anderson's going in the pits to get fresh tires. Not going to be able to do a whole lot from back there. Everyone's only on 10-lap old tires. So it looks like we're going to start this one with 10 to go. 55-lap race. Crafton was looking pretty tough on that last run. Just sticking with Gary, which we haven't seen anyone be able to do. Now that Wilkinson's back up there, might be able to have something to say about it, but not sure. He'll be starting on that inside 2nd row, might be able to get that nose in under the 5 and work for the 2nd spot. So Blake Anderson rejoins the end of the field. He's got fresh tires, going to be starting next to Connor James. Should see the pace car lights go out and double file. 1 to green now. We're going to be going green with 9 laps to go. Pace car pulls in. Will we see an early start out of the 4 car? Does get an early start.
Green flag.
Crafton's able to duck in, and the 1 car appears to have stuffed the 6 car into the wall on the front stretch. So more contact for the 1. Scary and Crafton battling for that top spot. Crafton a little loose off of the 3rd turn. Wilkinson trying to catch up to the back of this front pack. got one going around in the back. It's the 12 car Hernandez. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Looks like someone got loose and then he jumped on the brakes a little hard. So, a little more pacing. Then we're going to have a shootout to the end. Clary, after that contact on the start, has dropped back 2 spots to 6th place now. Williams has moved up to 5th, and Connor James somehow has worked his way back up to 4th and is now blocking the free pass guy. Didn't appear to be happy about that. Let's see if we can take a look at that restart for James. So, James gets 1 spot there on the 13. Little contact from the 6 helps him get around the 9. Gets it to stick on the bottom, gets around the 6. And that moved him up into the 4th spot. So now he's ready to revisit the 1 who sent him around in that 3-wide situation for the last caution. Still pacing around though. 4 laps to go, going to be 3 to go at the line. So, after all the pitting, after everything that's happened, we've got the 4 strongest cars that we've had all day right up front. Let's see who walks away with this one. Gonna be 2 to go when they get the green flag. We'll see if we can finish this one under green or not. A very early start by the 4 car. He pulls away. Wilkinson gets to the inside of Crafton. They're going to be side by side through 1 and 2. Crafton just edging him out down the backstretch. James falls back. We got a spinner. That's Clary. He's having a bad day. White flag, so we're going to race this one back no matter what. Looks like Gary's going to get the win. Let's see if James gives a little send to the 1 or not, or if he gets himself sent. Little tap out of 4 or 3, but this one's over. 10's showing he's not pleased with the 1 for the move that he made earlier. So Gary in the 4 car gets the win. Leads quite a few laps there. Most of the race except for a couple of pit stop laps. So this one's over. 55 laps Concord in the street stocks. A little messy, but it's what you would expect in a short track series. So hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, might come back with a few more.